Hello, it's Tanya Gabrielle, Wealth Astronumerologist, and I'm really excited to talk to you today about a full moon coming up in Libra that is going to change everything. It touches on so many planets, and there's a major, very intense T-square, and it happens on the 11th, which is a master number. There's so much to share with you. So it happens on a day, universal time, that encompasses the 11 portal. And so that really encapsulates the message of stepping into the unknown, letting go, releasing, so you're able to heal from so much past lives, paradigms, especially in our relationships. The number 11 reduces to 2, which governs one-on-one relating. And this whole full moon is in Libra, and Libra governs the balances, which is also about relationships. And the full moon is actually governed by Venus, because Venus rules Libra, and Venus is about love and relationships. So there's so much for us to heal right now and to move forward on, not just with relationships with others, but our inner relationship. So let's go more deeply into the code. First of all, it happens universal time in London at 7:08 a.m., 11:08 p.m. Pacific time on April 10th. So in a very small part of the world, the full moon will be the previous day, but most of us will experience it on the 11th. So like I said, Venus rules this Libra full moon, because Libra is ruled by the planet Venus. And Venus is the feminine archetype, the divine goddess, the mother of receptivity, creation, nurturing, wealth, creating abundance. And there's a beautiful, beautiful theme in this full moon about getting in touch with creation, which I'll get into in a moment. It's a powerful theme, actually, that started in early April. So now Jupiter is in Libra, and Jupiter is conjunct the moon. And so there's a lot of joy and liberation and freedom that encompasses, the actual letting go part that we're all going to experience during this full moon. Jupiter is all about truth and wisdom. So let's go back to Venus first. Like I said, there's so much to share with you, so I'm going to try to do this step by step. So Venus is currently retrograde still. It recently moved into Pisces, which is a sign Venus loves to be in, because Pisces is about higher unconditional love, spiritual love. Venus is about human love. So the compassion factor has really been raising now for the month of April. And Venus happens to be merged with Chiron, conjunct Chiron, during this full moon and for most of April. So this is really, Chiron is all about healing. So we are healing from past wounds in our relationships. So your feelings about abandonment and separation are going to be addressed. They're being healed. Basically, this is all about stopping to see if you're going into victimization mode. And if you find yourself doing that, you need to just surrender to the divine order, the divine creator, to source. And this is where the theme of creation comes in. Saturn is playing a huge part in this full moon as well. Saturn just went retrograde, and Saturn is in Sagittarius. And that sign is ruled by Jupiter. And as you know, Jupiter is right next to the moon, right next to the full moon. So there's a big emphasis on the Jupiterian qualities of honor and truth and expansion and being completely congruent with your values, your soul's values. But then Sagittarius is about taking responsibility. And in this case, it's retrograde at 27 degrees, which is exactly the point in Sagittarius that points to our galactic center. Now, this is very profound. It's really never happened before, that we have not only Saturn retrograde at this very point, but also at the same time, Saturn is forming an exact 90-degree angle, which is called a square in astrology, to Venus, which is at 27 degrees Pisces. And Venus rules this full moon. And so we're being shown the way out of our karmic relationships right now. We're being shown the way. It's really, you're being held to task to be responsible for who you're traveling with in this lifetime. Who are you choosing to be with? Is it people who are congruent with your values? It's Jupiter, right? Is it people who are honorable, responsible? Is it people who are filled with happiness and joy, who are loving? These are the questions you want to ask. And it starts with you, of course. Are you being these things? This is what Saturn is asking. And Saturn is your direct line to galactic center right now. You have complete access to the divine. This is just an extraordinary moment. And look at this. The sun is in Aries opposite the moon. This is a full moon. So the moon and sun are opposite each other. So with the sun in Aries, that's the first sign of the zodiac. Initial new beginnings. And then we have the 11th of April, new beginnings. Even if you're experiencing this full moon on the 10th, that's also a 1 and 0, new beginnings. So we have new beginnings in how we live our life as divine beings. This is an extraordinary, like I said, it's just an amazing moment. And so another thing I want to bring up is that there are a lot of planets going retrograde or moving, changing directions in April. It's a big theme this April. So there's a lot of changing of directions, pivoting. And of course, 11 is a pivot point. It is holding you at a point where you are moving into the unknown. So this pivoting of planets is intensifying all these planets. Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Pluto are all pivoting this month. And Jupiter is also retrograde. So there's a lot of not only change of direction and waking up, there's also reflection and looking very, very deeply at things that you may not have noticed, that have passed you by, but they're all being brought to the surface now. So let's look more closely at the T-square as well, because this is a very powerful moment that I've drawn up in the chart. You can see that red triangle. It points out the T-square. So what's happening is that the sun is conjunct Uranus. The sun is at 21 degrees, Uranus at 24 degrees, opposite the moon in Libra at 21 degrees with Jupiter at 17 degrees. And they're forming a square. These two conjunctions are forming a 90-degree angle to Pluto. So it's setting off that T-square again that's been active since the end of 2011. It's been a long time coming for this T-square. It's being activated again, mostly due to Jupiter, which is sitting there and making sure that we are breaking through and waking up. So this full moon is one of the last real opportunities for us to do that. So Uranus opposite Jupiter, first of all, is a theme for the year. And it's all about having positive, better possibilities for our life, finding those, bridging realities into higher realms. Both Uranus and Jupiter are forming this square to Pluto, which is transforming us, okay? And then with Uranus in the first sign of Aries next to the sun for this full moon, it's awakening in us the urge to create and lead, to really step up as the leaders of our life, never blaming the outside world or saying this happened because so-and-so, you know, or something created it in my life. No, you attracted that. So taking responsibility for everything in your life and creating exciting breakthroughs. Uranus is all about that restless energy that has to innovate and discover and move into the future. And so, you know, there's almost a sense of impulsiveness of moving forward. Gosh, there's so many energies. There's this forward momentum, and then Saturn is saying, okay, but be really responsible when you move forward. Okay, so that's Uranus, that's the sun. And then on the other side, we have Jupiter and Libra conjunct the moon. And that's making you much more emotionally aware. It's expanding your heart. It's also very fortunate. Jupiter is all about joy, right? It's about expanding your abundance. So it brings a lot of happiness and optimism. And so you feel more generous, you share more, you're more open, you're more transparent, right? And so this is a great spiritual growth conjunction as well. And then with the moon opposite Uranus too, this is important to note that this will shift you and open doors. Those 11 doors are opening with this aspect on an emotional level, especially in your relationships. It all really comes back to how you relate to yourself and open up the doors to others. So what do you need to see in order for you to stay in balance, right? What is it that is appearing in your life now as an experience or as people entering your life? Whatever it is, these situations are opening you up in order for you to bring complete balance into your life. And then this T-square is forming with Pluto at the apex. Pluto at 19 degrees in Capricorn. So this awakens your mission. Capricorn rules the 10th house in astrology. This is about what you're here to do, what your spiritual mission is. And so again, that is being transformed. You are being aligned and changed to wake up in a deeper way to what you're here to do. So again, all of that brings balance, right? Whatever we're focused on in our life is the energy exchange we're having with the universe. So your mission is just as important as your relationships. So the other thing to note is when the moon is square Pluto, which it is during this full moon, it gets really intense emotionally. So around, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even Sunday, you will feel an intensification of your emotions. So just be aware of that. Do a lot of meditation, Reiki, deep breathing, walking in nature. All of that will help to dissipate any kind of real emotional reactions that you may have. Just use Uranus, the awakening planet, the planet that rules Aquarius, our Aquarian age that we're entering into now in a big way. Use Uranus, the awakener, to look for a new way to experience life. Always look for that. What is a different way that I can navigate the situation? Not do it the old way, but find a new pathway, a new gateway, an 11 gateway to walk through and raise your vibration to this higher level. 11 rules light. And so the light is shining down and exposing the darkness. It's stirring things up, right? So buried feelings are coming to the surface. Formerly hidden karmic patterns are coming to the surface, becoming visible, need to be addressed. It's ensured by the numerology and astrology code coming together that this will happen for you and everyone around you. So be very sensitive to that too. It's not just about you. It's how do you respond to this energy which is really surrounding you everywhere. And this applies to any emotional power struggles you might be feeling in your relationships. You want to stay very, very conscious about keeping your heart center in flow. You don't want to ignore the power struggles. You want to address them. Remember, you are the leader. You are not saying it's happening to me. You're saying, what do I do about it? How do I address this? So you allow that pattern to be released by being proactive. Okay, the sun is in Aries. This is a very proactive placement. So an extraordinary Libra full moon we have here. You want to connect to that overall divine picture, that galactic center, that bird's eye view that allows you to envision and connect with who you are as a divine being, which will set you free ultimately. Any moment that you do that is a freedom seeking and a freedom activating moment that you're creating for your life. So have a gorgeous, wonderful, breakthrough, loving Libra full moon. And I'll see you for the Taurus new moon, also ruled by Venus, coming up at the end of April. Lots of love.